Joining us now straight from Indianapolis, site of the Scouting Combine, brand new head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, who will eventually be getting a giant Super Bowl ring for his work as offensive coordinator of the LA Rams. He's Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, welcome to the program. Great to see you.
Appreciate you having me on.
Well, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl, and congratulations on getting a chance to lead your own team to a Super Bowl. When did you decide that you believed you were ready to become a head coach in the NFL?
Well, I think it's an ongoing process, but when you get exposed to some great players and coaches, throughout the process of growing as a coach, you start to really take a lot from those experiences, and pretty soon you start to feel like I feel really comfortable and confident that I can take a lot of these things and build the type of culture and build the type of team that you've always kind of hoped to do with the experiences that you've had. And then you start thinking about the people you'll get to do it with. And it's very, very important that there's, that connection and that collaboration amongst the whole organization. And getting to be around Kwesi every day as our general manager has only solidified how I felt about him beforehand. And the type of shared vision that we're going to have to kind of build off of has been exciting early on. It's been a fast-moving process for me since obviously winning the Super Bowl, showing up a couple days later in Minnesota, but it's been a good one. Excited about it. Excited to be here in Indianapolis, and next step in the process.
And you actually were involved in a game in Minnesota late in the regular season, late December. Rams won over the Vikings in that stadium they have. It's just a few years old. It's an awesome place. Did you have any inkling when you were there? The way things go, you never know. You never know. Maybe I'll be back as soon as next year, and maybe I won't be working for the Rams.
Yeah, I did not. I just always remember, a couple times I've been there on the visitor sideline at US Bank Stadium. You remember that atmosphere. You remember the passion of the fans. You remember what that game day experience is like, second to none in our league. And so you get the opportunity to interview for the Minnesota Vikings job with a great ownership and a great organizational structure. But the one thing is every home game you get to host in this league, you hope to have an advantage. You don't always have that around the league, but when you do, and we're going to have it each and every Sunday at US Bank Stadium, it's one of those things where that's a huge part of it for a coaching staff and a team to know that home field advantage is really going to be there every week.
This is a franchise that for too many years to remember has been caught in a range of average to above average. Every once in a while they'll make some noise in the postseason. But what do you think the biggest challenge is to convert the franchise into a team that is a consistent high-level contender, not just a consistent, maybe we'll get to the wild card round, maybe we'll get to the divisional round type of a contender where they are now?
I think first and foremost, you gotta build the culture of what you want your organization to be, and that's a group that is an incredibly connected team, with their coaches and with their fellow players, the support staff around the building. The idea of building a place where the players want to be there. They want to be there getting better every single day and trusting the process of how we're building our systems and how we're coaching those systems, connecting with the players from the staff all the way down to every man on the roster. That's the starting point. And then it's about evaluating the roster. It's about applying the principles of how you want to play offense, defense, and special teams to fit your roster, to fit your team each and every year, and then go try to find a way to compete every single Sunday. It's hard to win in this league, but when you can go out and trust that process of how you prepare, how you've built your team, and rely on that when it matters the most, you got a chance. And then it's just about gaining momentum and getting better as the seasons go on and playing your best when it matters in the end, because that's really what separates teams in our league, is the teams that play their best football in December, January, and get an opportunity to play in February. It's something, having just experienced it, I know what it feels like now. I know what it's like to watch a team ascend, get through some adversity throughout the season and be at their best when you need to be. And it's a hard thing to do, but if you got the process right, you got the right people around you, and your building feels that right culture on a daily basis, feel really strongly about your chances of building a winner.
Kirk Cousins is under contract for 2022. He's been a lightning rod for Vikings fans because he's delivered one playoff appearance in 4 seasons with the teams. You have experience with him in Washington. What's the best way to describe him to the Vikings fans out there that are curious how this new coach who's worked with Kirk Cousins is going to interact with him and use him. What is your description of what Kirk can do to help achieve the vision and the culture that you're trying to develop?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I really do believe, having attempted to play quarterback in this league myself, and not ultimately achieving that goal because of the fact that I wasn't accurate enough as a quarterback. I think the number one thing for me, now that when I look at veteran quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, I evaluate them throughout any process, is they need to be naturally accurate. And Kirk is that. Kirk is one of the naturally accurate passers in this league. He does not need to think about throwing the football, being accurate, where he wants to place the ball. He naturally does it in the rhythm and timing of any offense he's ever been in. And that's really been one of his traits that's allowed him to have a lot of success. I think he's tough. I think he's durable. I think he leads in his own way that he's really become comfortable with throughout his career as he's gained more experience and stepped into a lot of different huddles with a lot of teammates in multiple spots. But watching him here with this group, and when you really start to turn on the tape and watch the level of quarterback at which he's played, it's about continuing to refine and have him continue to grow within the system we're going to build for him and the rest of our offensive players, both up front, the skill players. There's a really good group to work with here. The sky's the limit as far as how you want to play offense with the type of talent we have on that side of the ball. And Kirk's going to be a huge part of it. He's our quarterback, and I feel really good about his fit in building something and being a part of building something that we want to be as an offense here in Minnesota.
Last one for you. There's one guy on your offense that is very excited about the fact that you're the head coach of the team. We visited with him Super Bowl week, and that's receiver Justin Jefferson. And I think he has visions of becoming Cooper Kupp in your offense. Is his vision of that role accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing about Cooper Kupp this past season was he lined up in a lot of different spots. It was hard for defenses to really know where he was. He did a lot of different things. He had an impact in a lot of phases of our offense beyond just catching a lot of balls and scoring a lot of touchdowns. There was a huge role for Cooper because of his willingness to be completely completely solidified in every phase, both the run and the pass. I see that with Justin. I see an incredible skill set, but I also see a player we can move around. We can make it hard for defenses to know where he's going to be. He doesn't have to line up in the same spot all the time. He doesn't have to run the same type of routes all the time. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's willing in the run game. This guy's a special player. I loved him a couple years ago when he was coming out of the draft. We obviously weren't in a position to possibly get a chance to coach him, but you still go through the process and you see the traits, you see the skill set, and he's really just grown from day one. I think he's got an incredibly bright future. He's already a superstar in this league in my mind, and no better way to build your offense, obviously through the lens of the quarterback first and foremost always, but when you have a weapon like that, in addition to Adam, Irv, Dalvin, our great guys up front on the offensive line, who it's been fun to study. Justin Jefferson's going to have a huge role within our offense and continue to ascend in this league. Cannot wait to start coaching him when we get a chance here coming up this spring.
It's been fun to watch your career develop just 14 years after entering the NFL as a third-round pick of the Patriots. Here he is, Kevin O'Connell, head football coach of the Minnesota Vikings. We wish you all the best going forward, and I look forward to talking to you down the road, Kevin.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.